What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Saturday afternoon here on Crunch Time. I am Britt Devine, joined by Agents of Fandom / producer for the day, Mr. TJ. TJ, you are in control. What is it like to have so much power?
It's fun, I've had the power for a while, and it's been kind of fun to mess with Steve and Rob every now and then. But now that I'm actually allowed to use the power, I don't know. It feels like a little bit much right now. It's going to take a while to get used to, building the lineups, doing the analysis, and the producing. But I'm excited to dive into it.
Don't try, and I know you do with the superpowers and the superheroes. None of that nonsense on the show today, TJ. Andre, do you think TJ's up to the task today?
Oh yeah, I think he's definitely up to the task. But remember, as your guys in Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. So make sure we do the right thing here.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's fun. TJ, hopefully it all goes smooth. If there is any problems, I do believe we have a backup emergency executive super producer on the back end watching everything. So, guys, it's baseball here today. We've got a little bit of a funky slate. We've got 7 games on FanDuel. We've got 10 games on DraftKings, and all the doubleheader games DraftKings going to roll with. We've got some weather issues, too. I'm going to bring up Roth's report. Basically, the main one we're waiting on is his Arizona Padres game. He's got it as yellow. I haven't seen. I've got him tagged on the X.com, whatever they're calling it nowadays. If he tweets something or posts something, I'm going to see if he posts any update onto it. But with it just being yellow, he says it's going to be a very light rain. They are scoring a lot of runs in this game, so I don't know if it's going to go too late in the first part of it. But as it stands now, real quick, I like you, Darvish. I'm comfortable playing with him. Does anyone fading him for the weather as it stands currently? I'm just waiting on this Roth update.
I'm basically just ignoring it and playing the slate as if there's no weather going on. If we happen to get some news after it starts, like the projected lock for it is until 8:40. So if we hear something before that maybe Roth tweets something out, maybe that game goes really late and we kind of get a little bit more worried about it as the evening goes on. We still got some time to pivot off, but as of right now, I'm basically just treating it as normal.
Andre?
Yeah, I'm treating it as normal for right now. I would just, because we do have a pivot that we could go to a little bit later in the game. I mean, later on in the evening, which I would just do and go to Urias here against Miami if we have to. So I would just keep everything as is.
All right, so I just want to touch on the weather for everybody here first. We do still like the like button. We're up to 36 on the YouTubes.com. TJ for the Spidey Bombs. I've got 2 bets to drop too. We'll drop. How about we'll co-drop some bets at 50 and then 100. Sound good to you?
I like it. First Spidey Bomb at 50. I got a few of them, so why don't we do 50, 75, and 100 for 3 Spidey Bombs?
Sounds good to me. I'll follow you in on all of those as well. So with the slate, looking reasonably
already, Britt, get over 50 likes. So it's time for the first one already, and I'm not even gonna say it yet. I'm going to try and put it on the screen for the first one. Can we do it? And we do. Ryan Mountcastle, Spidey Bomb, number 1, plus 400 on FanDuel today.
Yeah, I like Mountcastle. Absolutely ridiculous splits against lefties, going up against Waldichuk. I will quadruple check for you in just a second to make sure that those are the best odds. And I didn't think I bet him yet, but that was an overlook by me because I'm absolutely on board with that one. I'm going to drop a scores and odds premium for you guys too. I know the Spidey Bombs are big here, but I've got a couple of bets. These are premium. You got to pay for these, but I'll give them to you on the show today. My first one, I got another one at 75 likes. Is the Guardians. Really like the Guardians. Really like BB. Absolutely ridiculous home splits. It's the Tigers. We're going with the Guardians money line. I've split my bet between the money line and the run line. But if you just want to play it safe, I think the money line for the Guardians today is one of my favorite bets on the board. All right. Let's go pitching. TJ, I'll kind of toss it up with you here first. We've got maybe let's go FanDuel first. We'll mix in some of the other pitchers on DraftKings in a second. So FanDuel specifically, Framber's expensive, right? He's 11-1. If you want to get access to a full core slate of bats, you can just squeeze it in with Framber, but you're not taking the bats you probably really want. I've gone down to BB. I'm all in on BB today. He's my number 1 pitcher, basically expected today. I love him. I'm rolling with him. It's Framber or BB for me is basically your SP1 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I feel very similar, and we are actually over 75 likes already, and
Goodness
so
gracious.
they're hammering the like button today. Let's get it. And Spidey Bomb number 2 is going to be my guy Pete Alonso plus 360 on FanDuel. He really let me down yesterday. I was a Pete Alonso home run from about 7K day yesterday, and instead it was only about $300 because of his lack of homers, so that hurt. But we're going right back to the well today. Pete Alonso is Spidey Bomb number 2.
All right, and you had Mountcastle 400 on FanDuel. Let me raise you with a 500 on DraftKings. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right, so I'm going to go in on and get on that Mountcastle. I'll check Alonso. I know Grant's been hot with Pete Alonso hitting home runs on the scores and odds side, so Alonso's doing pretty good right now. But pitching, TJ, let's talk that real quick.
Yeah, so pitching today, I do think I would probably prioritize Valdez in cash, and then go with BB as my secondary one today. But if you want to save salary and go Gray and BB, I have no issue with that as either. Those would be the only 3 guys I would be choosing between in cash, I think, today. But in tournaments, I'm also really going to be looking to mix in these cheap guys. Like I'm playing Waldichuk, Irvin, Chirino, Sandoval, Darvish. I'm playing all these guys today.
Yeah, I'm on BB over Framber on FanDuel for me. Just gets me access to all the bats that I want. Real quick on DraftKings, we mix in some of these other guys, TJ. We've got Darvish, reasonably priced. You know, the last time, I don't even know if we've ever really seen an 8K Darvish. I know it's against Arizona, but Darvish is at home, which is always a big plus for him. I like Darvish with BB, 2 mid-tier pitchers. Gets you, from a cash game perspective, you want Coors bats? No problem. You just make your whole lineup full of the best Coors bats with those 2. Do you think Framber's worth the extra $2,000-ish on DraftKings? And then any of the other pitchers that we don't have access to on FanDuel? Interesting.
I do think it's interesting for Valdez on FanDuel on DraftKings to go all the way up to him. He's just not all that expensive. Me personally, it'd be Valdez and BB. And I agree. I would go BB on FanDuel as my number 1, probably Valdez 2, Gray 3. But on DraftKings, for me, it would be a Valdez and BB combo. If you want to go Gray, I'm cool with it. But those are my main 2 that I'm prioritizing.
All right, let me welcome Andre back to the show from a more tournament perspective. And if you want to break up the sites, feel free, Andre, because they are a little different today with the 3 extra games on DraftKings. Who's your guy up towards the top? Are you paying for Framber? Do you think BB should be your highest owned, your highest exposure pitcher? There's a couple of cheap guys on DraftKings too. You can even mix in an Irvin and a Waldichuk on FanDuel if you really wanted to if you wanted to stack Atlanta with some of the Coors bats. Maybe that's what you wanted to do. How are you approaching it? Just a little bit of a different landscape between the 2 sites today.
Okay, yeah. Well, on I'll start with FanDuel real quick. On FanDuel, BB Davis would probably be the top play over there for sure that I would go with. I don't even know if I would even consider. Obviously Framber, you can consider him for sure, but just the matchup is against Seattle, who has been a little bit better lately, even though the strikeout rate over the past 30 days is going to be high. Framber Valdez, though, the past 30 days has only had an average of 14.5% strikeout rate overall. So both sides of the plate just really not striking no one out a lot. So that kind of concerns me with the Seattle team that seems like they're playing a lot better right now than what they were before. So I'm kind of out on Framber. I do like BB a lot going against Detroit, so he would be someone I would be considering a lot here. Waldichuk is someone that I'm like,
which pitcher you want in that game? The bat loves Waldichuk today. It is like play him in every single lineup. I am not doing that. I always hate going against the bat because the bat's generally right. But not how I'm doing. If you had to pick the cheap pitcher between him or Irvin in that game, which one you got?
And that's where I'm having the struggle with right now because as we mentioned to you as we talked about pre-show, like both these lineups right now over the past month have had a low strikeout rate in the lineups throughout their whole lineup, which is really good. This the Waldichuk though is striking out lefties at 14%, but striking out righties at 30%. but you got Cole Irving on the opposite side who's going to be lesser owned, striking out both sides of the plate at 30%. So it's kind of, and this is over the past month. So it's kind of tricky. I personally I'm leaning right now more towards Cole Irving, but I don't mind the Waldichuk play either. So
Yeah, I'm on Irvin over Waldichuk, so that's 2. TJ, do you have a take on that one? Are we all going against the bat? It seems like that's probably not the smart thing to do.
I have 22% of each of them.
All right.
So no stand for me. I unfortunately can't break the tie. This is like the largest, I feel like, pool of pitchers for a slate this size, and even for bats as well. I feel like this is the least I've cut down my pool in a really long time, and that's probably not a good thing. But obviously, with the show going on, I'm not really going to change it all now. I kind of just feel like I haven't taken enough stands, getting 20-ish% of a whole bunch of different pitchers on this slate. But Valdez is actually my highest owned on DraftKings. And then Waldichuk and Irvin are tied for second, followed by BB and Gray right behind them.
Yeah, and then Andre, out of the Senga, Gray, Keller, Webb, I've erased Webb from, you're a pitcher against Atlanta. That doesn't exist to me. Gilbert, that's probably, I don't think Chirinos is the absolute worst. Close your eyes and pray for the low-owned guy. The Giants have been absolutely horrible over the past 30 days, and Chirinos has some strikeout ability. It's sort of upped over the season. That'll bring me to my second scores and odds pick of the day is the Braves money line, by the way. So 2 behind the paywall bets for you from me. Braves money line, Guardians money line. I've been on an absolute heater again, 7 straight money line bets or run line bets on scores and odds. Let's get to 9-0 with both of those 2. But I think Chirinos is a swerve on the cheap end from both Irvin and Waldichuk. But if you had to pick one of the Eflins, Grays, Sengas, one of those type of guys, which one would be probably your favorite today, Andre?
See, that's even tough too. Like Eflin has been good except for his last game against Cleveland. I kind of want to go right back to that against the Angels, go back to that with him against the Angels. And that's the thing. We could poke holes at any of these guys. So that's what I literally try to do. I talk myself into these guys, talk myself out to these guys. The Angels right now are projected to have a high strikeout rate. So it kind of not makes me like them. So I do like Eflin a lot. 9-1 on DraftKings is not a bad price to pay for him. And on FanDuel, is that game on FanDuel? I don't think so.
None of the doubleheaders are on FanDuel today.
Okay. Yeah, so the Eflin play on DraftKings is something I don't mind a lot. Sonny Gray, I do like as well. He's been pitching great. Pittsburgh has not been the best offense lately, so I don't mind him as well. I probably go him over Eflin. And then Mitch Keller. The bat doesn't like Mitch Keller, and this is where I'm confused at because Mitch Keller has been pitching hasn't been pitching that bad lately. I know he started off the season really, really good, then was bad, and then I think he's bounced back a little bit. I know the fly ball rate is a little concerning at 40% on to lefties, but 17% only to righties is not bad. The strikeout rate though is kind of low, but overall, he's at a 24% strikeout rate when this lineup that's for the Twins is at a 25. Twins. I know they're playing better, but I think this is a matchup where you can get away with playing a Mitch Keller in tournaments, especially on DraftKings and on FanDuel, which I don't mind because I think he's hardly going to be on FanDuel. Coming at like 1% ownership, the bats are projected at. So I don't mind Mitch Keller as a nice little sneaky tournament play. If you want to get different, that's off of Waldichuk, and that's also cheaper than Gray or Senga if you want to play Senga. But I don't think I'm rostering him at all.
All right, TJ, we've crossed the 100 likes. That means Spidey Bomb number 3 is up. I'm out of bets, so it's all you, my man.
So for what it's worth, I do like the call of pitch and Semyani Chirinos against this team today, but I also like Wilmer Flores batting third plus 470 on FanDuel. He is Spidey Bomb number 3.
All right, looks like 480 on FanDuel currently. So if you want to get that, they've juiced it up. I don't know. You would think, I don't know. Do they need, like, why does it go from 470 to 480? Do they need more people to bet Wilmer Flores home runs today? Like, I don't understand. Like, I think big moves in home runs, but I don't know. 480 from the 470, you said, sounds pretty good to me. I'll follow you in on that one. And I do agree a little bit. I just think the Braves get the Webb quite a bit. Webb very struggles mightily on the road compared to at home. I think I've taken Webb at home a bunch of times this year because he's basically the best pitcher in the league when he's at home. But he's not at home today. He's against Atlanta, and that spells a lot of trouble for him today. So,
and for what it's worth, like San Fran's basically their entire team has pretty insane home run odds on Fanduel today. Wade Meckler is plus 1060. Conforto's plus 680. JD Davis plus 600, Sayball plus 630, Wade plus 560. So pick your favorite San Fran guy and fire a bet on them today because they got some really great odds.
Yeah, I think that's a nice, a reasonable strategy. I do like the Braves, mainly from the offense to come through today. All right, TJ, I'm going to stick with you on offense. Let's talk generalized. Where are we looking for bets? We have a game in Coors. It's going to be really owned from a tournament perspective because you can pick you can get on DraftKings, you can get Darvish and Beebe, right? Two pretty good pitchers in reasonably good spots with full core stacks, right? So the ownership is going to get a little bit out of control over there. What are you doing personally in terms of cores, and then what other offenses do you think can make it work tonight?
So I'm not full fading the White Sox, but I am going to be underweight on the White Sox today. They're actually my 5th highest owned stack. Colorado on the other side, though, that's not going to be the case. I'm loading up on Colorado. Ryan McMahon's going to be my highest owned player. I'll probably be underweight on Brendan Rodgers because he's going to be super chalky, but McMahon and Nolan Jones, those are my 2 favorite plays on the entire slate. Colorado is my highest owned stack, followed by Baltimore, number 2. I'm getting to a lot of Waldichuk. He's my 2nd highest owned pitcher, but Baltimore is also my 2nd highest owned stack. From there, I like those matchups the best today. That's why I'm going with Colorado and Baltimore. And then as a way to get a little bit different than the White Sox, I just kind of wanted to look like, okay, who are the highest upside teams on this slate, on any slate? It's the Braves and the Dodgers. And so the Braves are my 3rd highest owned stack today. The Dodgers are number 2. Those stacks are the lineups that I'm really getting to a lot of those cheap pitchers in. And then the last kind of ones I'm mixing in are a little bit of Minnesota, Houston, Cleveland, and the Mets.
All right. And then Andre, I mean, pretty much the same. How are you handling the offense today?
Yeah, offense is pretty much the same. I do like Colorado a lot here today. I do love the Dodgers today in this spot. Dodgers are probably one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite team to go with on the slate. Probably going to try to get to a lot of them. I'm also trying to figure out this Arizona situation, which we just got the starter for the second game. I think it's not Bryce Jarvis. Is Bryce Jarvis the long guy, right? Because they have an opener now. Scott McLaughlin will start game 2 for the Diamondbacks. So that makes me kind of like San Diego a little bit more here. I might try to. I'm probably gonna take some shots at them. I do like the White Sox. Obviously, the Atlanta is good as well. Cleveland, I think, is a sneaky team that I don't know if anyone's gonna really be on them a lot. I do like them a fair amount as well. And one last team that I do, I'm probably gonna have a good amount of or a decent amount of is the Minnesota Twins.
All right, I'm gonna go basically handle cash. I'll try to alternate positions with you guys to speed this up so we have time for questions. We lock is 20 minutes away, so let's try to get through this. Cash games for me.
I got a message from Dean before we go any further that says we are killing him because it's Bybee, not BB.
Oh, Bybee, BB, Bybee. I'm in the Stevie camp of. You know who we're talking about. The pronunciation once in a while we'll slip up on it.
I'm in the camp that BB is just a lot more fun to say than Bybee.
Yeah, like Tank Dell, right? We all want to play him, and we want to play these guys with fun names to say. And BB sounds a lot cooler. Cash games going to be really easy today. Coors Field, pick White Sox. pick Rockies. This isn't rocket science to me. It's a big total with pretty bad pitchers on the mound today. So my catcher both sites today. You don't need Diaz on FanDuel. You can fit him in if you want to, but he's definitely my cash game catcher on DraftKings. TJ, any beef with that?
No, Diaz is probably my favorite here as well. I'm also getting to a lot of Will Smith today, a lot of Adley Rutschman, and then Elias Diaz, Darno, a little bit of Alvarez, Bo Naylor. But yeah, my favorite is Diaz, followed by the pay-ups, Smith and Rutschman.
Andre, anyone a catcher you're looking at?
Sorry, let me just get back to catcher. I had to refresh my screen real quick to update everything. Catcher Diaz, obviously Diaz I do like a lot today. I like actually kind of getting to both Diaz's. I like Yernes as like kind of like a one-off here. I know I normally don't use catchers as a one-off, but I like him taking the spot. I do like also Bo Naylor going against Manning as well. In addition to the other guys that TJ mentioned and Will Smith.
All right. First base to me is definitely going to be Vaughn. He is a number one priority for me. Luis Robert is probably number one. Vaughn is going to be number two priority for me from cash games. Throw him into your first base spot. Very easily attainable, not expensive on either site. Get him in. Andre, from a tournament perspective, what's you looking at first base?
Okay, first base. I definitely like taking. You always got to play Shohei every day. First base or outfield, I think he has to be played every single day. I don't mind taking some shots here at Goldsmith as a one-off. Ryan Mountcastle, who's obviously TJ's home run play, is a good option as well. I've tagged here Cole Calhoun. I do like him today going against Manning. Any of these, like any at that Cleveland side looks just more and more good to me. So I think you should definitely play. Like I said, we yesterday play a lot of Miami. Play a lot of Cleveland today.
Yeah, Calhoun on DraftKings, throw him in the outfield. Not for your first base spot. There's too many between Mountcastle, Vaughn, and all these guys. Throw them in your outfield on DraftKings. TJ, you wanted to punch in on first base at all?
Yeah, that obviously I agree with you 100%. Vaughn is the cash game play today, but we take a little peek at that ticker at the bottom of the screen. All three of these guys are first basemen today. So Mountcastle and Flores I really like as nice cheap options. But I think Pete Alonso is probably my favorite tournament one-off on the entire slate.
All right, let's go to second base. To me, again, we've got Coors. You've got Brendan Rodgers hitting cleanup, reasonably priced on both sites. Don't overthink it too much. He's going to be my cash game second baseman. TJ, would there be anyone else in the running, or is he basically the only guy? He's the only guy for me.
Yeah, so the other two guys that I would consider in the running, but again, it would be more as a pivot, and you don't need to pivot in cash games. You just play the best projected play. So it'd probably be Rodgers. But the other two of my favorite guys here, technically the next three of my favorite guys here are all eligible at other positions as well. Jordan Westberg, you can play at second or third. He's batting cleanup today for Baltimore. I really like him. Elvis Andrus lead off today for the White Sox. You can play him at short or second. And then Mookie Betts, I really like as a pay-up option as well. You can play him at second or outfield. Those are going to be the top four guys for me. And then I'm mixing in a little bit of Julian as a one-off. Everybody else only in stacks.
All right. Andre, real quick, second base.
Okay, second base, Andres Jimenez. I like him a good amount. Jorge Polanco, another good option as well. We mentioned Mookie Betts already, who I love today. Jordan Westberg is part of your Baltimore stacks. I think he's a good play here as well too. And yep, that's pretty much it. Oh, and Jake Cronenworth in your San Diego stacks.
All right. To me, I'm playing the pitchers I want with Coors Field, so I'm going to just be a broken record. So third base for me, you've got Ryan McMahon if you have the money. You've got Montero, who's 2,700 on FanDuel for a cheapie. You can play Westberg. He's 2,500 on FanDuel too. I think he's fine. You've got Ramirez. My question on FanDuel: if you had to choose between McMahon or Jose Ramirez today, TJ, who would be you want the KO artist or you want the Coors Field hitter?
McMahon, 100%. McMahon, I just absolutely adore today. Him and Pete Alonso would be like kind of the first two players I'd be plugging into a single entry style tournament lineup today. McMahon and Westberg are the guys I have the most here. I have 29% Westberg just because he's so cheap, 27% McMahon, and then I don't have a single other third baseman more than 10%. My next highest owned guy is Jake Berger at 9% today. Shout out to Dre, by the way, on the Miami Marlins call last night. They went absolutely bonkers. Soler had a double dong, and Dre was all over them. So shout out to Dre for that call. But I like Berger at Polanco, Austin Riley, but again, it's really just Westberg and McMahon is the guy I'm getting to in bunches. And then you can play Wilmer Flores on Fanduel at third base. I like going to him there as well.
Andre, what are you looking at third base?
Okay, sorry, I was just asking some of these Oakland bats out of my player pool. Third base. Both of those guys up top, McMahon and Ramirez as well. Nolan Arenado, I don't mind. Some of those St. Louis bats against Senga, I don't mind them. So like Nolan Arenado is not bad. I think I mentioned Paul Goldschmidt before. He's a good option. I like Kiki Hernandez here, also for the Dodgers. Austin Riley going against Webb is another good matchup here too. And if you want to, where's he at? Sorry, there's one more guy that I'm trying to scroll down to. My mouse is taking forever. Oh, well, Nicky Lopez but use him as an only in stack guy going against Webb since Webb's not been good on the road.
All right, shortstop. Again, for me, from cash, it's pretty simple. We've got Coors Field, you've got Tovar, you've got Andrews. FanDuel, maybe play both. Find a way to get both into your lineup. On DraftKings, I prefer Tovar. If you need some salary, I think going down to Andrews is a reasonable take to get someone else you might want in your lineup today, or maybe you're spending up on pitching. I think that's a reasonable sacrifice to make. TJ, I'll go back to you. Shortstop. What else outside of Coors could people be looking at?
Francisco Lindor and Gunnar Henderson are probably my two favorites outside of Coors today. I'm getting you basically everybody else only in stacks. Some Orlando Arcia, Carlos Correa, Ahmed Rosario, a little bit of Aledmus Diaz. But Andres, Lindor, Tovar, and Henderson are kind of my big four at the shortstop position today.
That sounds good to me. Andre, shortstop for you?
Shortstop is definitely a position that I don't mind using Tovar as a one-off or Andrews as a one-off. But most of the positions is going to be only in stacks. Well, Gunnar Henderson as well. But everyone else is in stacks. Xander Bogaerts, I do like a good amount. Amon Rosario, a part of your Dodger stacks. I think it's a good option here as well. That's really the main guys I'm going to be playing. Gabriel Arias, too, if you want to use him only in stacks for your Cleveland stacks on 4-5-man. This is good too as well.
All right. Outfield for me, again, Coors. There are a couple exceptions. You can, sneak a Cole Calhoun into a lineup. You can sneak on FanDuel, maybe like a Jock Peterson, a Michael Harris in there, but it's generally the Coors bats. Luis Robert, number one priority for cash games for me today. In Coors, he's cheaper than the other guys, the Acuñas and stuff like that. So he's number one priority. You've got Charlie Blackmon as well. He's reasonably priced, $2,900 on FanDuel, and on DraftKings he's $4,300. You can get that in. You've got Bennett Tendy. You've got Nolan Jones. You've got the guy I forgot the guy's name at the bottom of the lineup for Colorado. You can play him for cheap. Although I've sacrificed. Oh man, I can't put what's his name? Doyle. Yeah,
Doyle.
I've sacrificed him. I don't want too many 9-hitters on my cash team, so I've moved to instead of Doyle, I've found a Calhoun. Maybe I want a little cheaper. You like Cleveland? Calhoun's been pretty good for Cleveland. Hasn't had the power, but from a cash game, a couple of hits and a run score that plays as well. So that's pretty much where I'm looking at. TJ, is there anyone else that should really be in maybe from a cash game perspective? And then from tournaments, where are you looking at personally?
Cash, I think you nailed it. Tournaments, Yordan Alvarez is a guy I really love today, coming in at very low ownership. I think a mini stack of Alvarez, McCormick, who's in a great lineup spot today, and Diaz is very, very interesting for tournaments today. And I'm getting to a lot of McCormick as well. Don't mind some Austin Hayes. Really, really like Nolan Jones, not getting enough ownership today. And then Jorge Soler, I think, is an awesome one-off as well.
Andre?
Okay, outfield, Blackmon, JD Martinez, We mentioned Doyle, who I like a good amount of today. Kepler going against Keller, I don't mind as well. Sorry, I'm just giving some off the wall, like different ones that I don't expect to be that high owned here today. So like I said, I don't know how much Kepler's gonna be playing against Keller, even though people are not playing Miss Keller because I do like Miss Keller too today. Outman, I do like a good amount. Michael Michael A. Taylor. I'm just gonna say that name right now because last time I should have played him and he hit a home run. TJ knows. I was killing myself because I think I would have probably won a lot of money that night. But I think he is someone that you have to. If you're running multiple entries and you're running a couple Minnesota stacks, he needs to be in your lineup. I like Ozuna here as well today, also as well. And if you want to go with a guy named from the Mets named DJ Stewart, who's been hitting well lately, who used to be on the Orioles, I think that's not a bad option either.
All right. Let's get some questions in. Going to go to our Discord and then into YouTube. I see a couple of you in the live stream chat. Let's get to those. NBA DFS. TJ, he wants to know Fanduel cash, Henderson and Nolan Jones or Westberg and McMahon for cash. What say you?
And McMahon.
Yeah, I would take Westberg and McMahon as well. 4 score from DraftKings cash. Harris, Blackman, or Nolan Jones. I would probably play
Nolan Jones.
What site is that?
Oh, Stat, what time is lock?
What'd you say?
I'd go Nolan Jones on that one. And lock is in 2 minutes.
No, lock's at
you're good. It's in 7 minutes.
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes here, so you're good on that. We got plenty of time for questions. We managed to get through the positions pretty quickly. Yeah, I think Nolan Jones would be my pick on there as well.
We got over 300 people watching which is nice for a Saturday show too. So let's get those likes up. If we get up to 140, I can dish out one more Spidey bomb.
Oh, producer TJ coming with an extra Spidey bomb from the top rope. We'll see if we can get to that 140. I don't have any more bets. If you guys were looking for a couple of bets, I'm on the Braves money line. It should be around -120, at least it was earlier. And the Guardians money line should be around -160 or so. All right, going to go to the YouTube chat. Let's see what we can get here. Jeffrey wants to know, BB and Gray in DraftKings single entry. Is that okay for you today, Andre?
BB and Gray. Oh, that's like the perfect combination.
Is anyone worried with Sonny Gray? He's like he goes like 6 or 7, but it's always like 75 or 80 pitches. I mean, obviously that's good, but I don't think they want him throwing too many. Is anyone worried if there's any hiccups? Does that worry us on Sonny Gray at all today? Anyone?
I'm not worried about it. I'm going to take some chances and see what happens. I think he should be fine.
TJ, are you on Gray?
I am on Gray, but it's kind of like I mentioned before. I'm just mixing and matching everybody today. Gray falls behind BB for me, but I don't mind him in a single entry. If the rest of your lineup is very chalky, maybe you try Mitch Keller instead. But if you got a somewhat contrarian stack in there, then yeah, roll out your Gray and BB. Bybee. Sorry, Dean. Bybee.
Oh, yeah, that is right. Jock or Kepler? So this was in the YouTube chat. Jock for sure for me, and I know, TJ, you mentioned that as well.
Yeah, I like Jock today quite a bit.
Yeah, Jock was basically he was the last man out of my FanDuel cash team today, so he's very close. He's a very good play, in my opinion, even if you do sort of like the Braves. Let's see, what else can we get here? See if we've got any more. Looking for questions, guys. Feel free to post either in YouTube or on the Discord. Paul wants to know, Irvin or Waldichuk for your second pitcher on a DraftKings tournament. TJ, let's get your take. You were at 22% on each one of them. So we're going to use now, instead of using the software, pick one personally. All right. Who you got if you have to pick one of the cheap plays today?
I would go with Waldichuk.
Andre, who are you on?
I'm on Cole Irvin more.
I think I'm on Irvin too. I think those are the two, they're the two clear ones.
Yeah, I take it back. No, I go Irvin.
We're going to sweep on Irvin. We're all going up against the bat. We're all going to be proven idiots against the machine that Mr. Derek Hardy has created, but we'll see how that goes. The bat, for what it's worth, does like Waldachuk as almost one of the top pitchers of the slate today. Julian, if we're on the Twins, Andre, is there any risk using him for pinch hit and stuff like that? How are you handling him in your tournament teams?
I would just play him. And if I'm playing him full second, that's it. I don't really worry about pinch hit risk really, unless it's like the team like the Giants, which I just don't play them at all.
All right. Nolan Jones or Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn is basically priority number 2 behind Luis Robert for me today. So my answer is Vaughn if you're choosing between those two. TJ, how would you handle that?
Vaughn in cash, Jones in tournaments.
And then Andre, where do you stand between those two big hitters today?
Jones or who?
Vaughn.
Ooh, give me Jones.
All right. Let's see. We're going to check Discord again real quick. Someone in YouTube, Carmargo. Anyone playing him today? What did I miss? What's going on with him?
No,
no, I'm not playing him.
Someone said, "How mad is he?" I'm out of the loop, so we'd have to see on that one. Revenge night for Carmargo. D-Dot wants to know FanDuel single entry Roberts or Olsen. So this is like TJ, you said to stack Atlanta at what, like sub 5-6% ownership you're getting on these guys across the board seems like ridiculous. And Robert's going to be so heavily owned. Is that a swerve you'd be willing to make tonight?
Yeah, especially if the rest of my lineup was somewhat chalky. I don't mind that one bit.
Yeah, and the way you're using your pitchers, you have to have plenty of double cheap pitchers to stack the Braves tonight. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't really looked at my pitcher combinations yet, if I'm being honest. But with 22% of each, Waldachuk and Irvin, and 16% Chirinos, I'm sure I do have a lot of those double combos, especially because I have 10% Brave stacks today.
Jeffrey in YouTube wants to know 3,700 left at second base. Who's the best play? I'm going to assume that's DraftKings because 3,700 on FanDuel gets you just about anything you want. So let's go see here. Salary 3,700
for cash. Dodgers. For tournaments, I'd go Westberg, unless you're using Waldachuk, and then you go Andrus or Julian. But any of them
those are all the top 4 projections from the RotoGrinders projections. I think any one of those is certainly fine. Andre, would you have a favorite cheaper second baseman on DraftKings today?
Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm just uploading my lineups. I'm actually done. Ooh, got those in. You said second base. Give me. Not that. How cheap are we talking?
3,700. I think I would rank Rogers, then Westberg, and then probably Andrews, just because he's in cores. Not a lot of upside from home runs, and then probably Julian fourth.
Yeah, but say if you want to go Julian, I don't mind him.
Yeah, he would be right on like the outside looking in for me. Let me quadruple check. So Discord's good. The YouTube questions. Oh, if you had to pick one home run bet today, who would it be, TJ? So of all your Spidey bombs, which one's your favorite?
Alonso.
I really the Mountcastle at plus 500.
Yeah, for the odds, it'd be Mountcastle.
Yeah, Mountcastle for me would be a one. Let's see. It looks like we've hit lock. So that's going to do it for that. Anything else? That's a couple of games here, so we can't really change too much. So
actually, for what it's worth, I never pick Coors bets players as Spidey bombs just because the attempt is for them to just kind of like for that not to count. But if I was making one home run bet today, it would be Ryan McMahon.
Yeah, I do like McMahon. He's on from the cash teams. He's on both sites for me right now. Yeah, Andre, nothing makes me more nervous from YouTube. Nothing makes me more nervous in DFS than Andre getting his lineups in on time. We all know that feeling for football from tournaments, but I that's the only sport I really dabble in the tournaments. But when you're grinding through lineup HQ and that last second, you're really worried about that sometimes.
It's funny because NFL is the only sport I dabble in cash.
Oh well, yeah. Cash in NFL is pretty good too. The heads are out if anyone wants them. They've been out since on FanDuel and DraftKings. Gotta let them soak the whole time they're out there. All right, I think my laugh. Yeah, do people like my wife? So this is a funny story. She says she can hear me through the vents, right? So there's a vent on the floor. This isn't like my wall, right? This is fake. So there's a vent right here. It goes up, and she says she hears me through the vents in the house. Going, ha, 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 ha. Would that annoy any of you if you heard something like that?
No, it would just make me laugh.
Yeah, she I don't know if she says it's annoying just to mess with me, but that is funny. But yeah, she always says, I hear you chuckling downstairs during your whole show. I'm just I'm talking sports with my friends. It's a fun time. What can I say? All right, I think that's gonna do. TJ, I want to congratulate you on your production. Did Devin have to jump in at all? Devin, come on in. Did you have to save TJ at all?
There was the audio to the RG app. Yeah, we got one thing to troubleshoot, but otherwise.
All right, we'll have to get that. Good job, TJ, on your production debut. We'll see how it goes moving forward.
And the jury's still out on that one because that may not even be my fault yet. We don't know for sure. It might just be like a happenstance thing. So I'll give myself an A-.
All right. A-. He's an easy grader, but it seems like everything went good for everything on my end. I didn't notice anything. A little scratchiness on someone's mic. I'm not sure whose it was, but we'll figure that out. Anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. Click the like button on your way out. Go get your Spidey bombs. I was on the Guardians. I don't know if you can bet them. I was on the Braves. Andre, TJ, Devin, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we out you.